The story opens with David Chen navigating the edges of the Grand Assembly Hall on Solistara Prime, clutching his data tablet and trying to remain invisible. He's a junior cultural analyst in Earth's diplomatic corps, the person who writes footnotes in reports that no one reads and maintains databases of alien customs that senior diplomats ignore until they accidentally cause an incident. Today's assembly is a major political event. The signing of the Unified Trade Accords between dozens of species, with Queen Lysara of the Stellan Imperium presiding as neutral arbiter. The hall is packed with ambassadors, nobles, military commanders, and various dignitaries all jockeying for optimal seating, close enough to power to be noticed, far enough to avoid scrutiny. David just needs any seat where he can take notes and stay out of everyone's way. The main floor is hopeless, filled with preening nobility. He spots an empty chair in a side section, starts toward it, and is immediately blocked by a Stellan noble who sneers at his junior credentials and claims the seat belonged to someone more important. David apologizes quietly and continues searching, acutely aware that the assembly is about to begin and he's running out of options. David edges along the back wall, looking for literally any available seat, when he notices movement in his peripheral vision. The crowd parts like a wave, conversations dying mid-sentence. Queen Lysara herself has risen from her elevated throne platform and is descending to the main floor, something that apparently never happens during formal assemblies, judging by the shocked expressions around him. She's moving with purpose, her long, elegantly swept-back ears held in a position David's cultural training identifies as focused determination. Her silver eyes scan the crowd until they lock onto David, who freezes like a deer caught in headlights. The Queen approaches directly, and David's brain frantically searches his training for the correct protocol when a monarch singles you out unexpectedly. Before he can attempt a bow or apology for whatever he's done wrong, Lysara reaches out and gently takes his arm, an unmistakable physical gesture of invitation in Stellan culture. Her voice carries across the now silent hall. "You are David Chen, Earth's cultural analyst." It's not a question, but David nods anyway. "Yes, Your Majesty. Come, sit right next to me." She maintains her light grip on his arm, turning toward the throne platform where a second seat has been hastily placed beside her own. The entire assembly watches in stunned silence as the Queen personally escorts a junior human diplomat to the position of highest honor. David's legs move on autopilot as Queen Lysara guides him up the platform steps. His mind races through everything he knows about Stellan customs. Physical invitation from a royal, especially in public, signifies deliberate choice and personal trust. It's not done casually, not done for political expediency, and certainly not done with random junior analysts. As they reach the seats and Lysara gestures for him to sit, David catches glimpses of the reactions below. Ambassadors with expressions of calculation trying to understand the political angle. Nobles whose carefully planned seating arrangements have just been rendered irrelevant. And his own delegation chief, who looks like he's aged 10 years in 10 seconds. David sits carefully in the seat beside the Queen's throne, acutely aware that every eye in the hall is analyzing this moment. Lysara settles into her own seat with regal composure, then turns to him and speaks quietly enough that only he can hear. "You are confused, this is understandable. Respectfully, Your Majesty, yes, very confused." Her lips curve slightly. "I have been watching you, David Chen. For 3 days of preliminary negotiations, you have been present in every session, taking notes that you believe no one reads, maintaining records of customs and protocols. You speak to servers with the same courtesy you show ambassadors. You hold doors for others regardless of their rank. You seek no attention, no favor, no advantage." David processes this, unsure if he's being complimented or criticized. "I'm just doing my job, Your Majesty." "Precisely." Lysara's eyes hold his with an intensity that makes him forget about the hundreds of observers below. You are the only person in this hall who has not sought my attention, calculated how to gain my favor, or positioned themselves to be noticed. Your humility is not performance, it is genuine. Such quality is so rare among those who constantly circle power that I began to wonder if it still existed. She turns to address the assembly, her voice carrying with absolute authority. Let all present understand. Physical invitation in Stellan culture is deliberate recognition of character and trust. I have chosen David Chen to sit beside me because he embodies qualities I value: genuine humility, consistent courtesy, and service without ambition for glory. In a hall filled with those seeking advantage, he sought only to do his work well. The political implications crash through the assembly like a shockwave. By publicly honoring a junior diplomat over senior ambassadors, the Queen has sent a message about what she values. Several nobles who have been conspicuously positioning themselves near her throne suddenly look exposed and foolish. As the assembly proceeds with the formal treaty signing, David takes notes as he always does, but now from the most powerful vantage point in the hall. Lysara occasionally leans over to ask quiet questions about human diplomatic customs, genuinely interested in his expertise rather than dismissing it. During a recess, David's delegation chief approaches the platform with an expression caught between pride and panic. "Chen, what exactly?" "I have no idea, sir. She invited me. I said yes because saying no to a queen seemed inadvisable." Lysara, overhearing, addresses the chief directly. "Your analyst has served admirably through humility and competence. Perhaps Earth would be wise to recognize that rank and value are not always aligned." The chief stammers agreement and retreats. As the assembly concludes hours later, Lysara stands and addresses David once more, this time publicly. "David Chen, I formally request your assignment as cultural liaison to the Stellan court. Your insights and character would be valued." The request is essentially a command when it comes from a queen, but David appreciates that she framed it as choice rather than decree. "I would be honored, Your Majesty." "Good." She extends her hand in the human gesture she's clearly researched. "You sought a simple seat and found instead a position of trust. Sometimes the universe rewards those who seek nothing, precisely because they seek nothing." As David shakes her hand, aware that this gesture is being recorded and analyzed by every delegation present, he understands that his life just changed completely, because he spent 3 days being genuinely kind without expecting anything in return. Over the following weeks, as David transitions to his new role at the Stellan court, he discovers that Lysara's invitation accomplished multiple objectives. It exposed several ambitious nobles whose transparent maneuvering had irritated her. It demonstrated her values to the empire more effectively than any proclamation could. And it brought her a genuine ally who won't constantly calculate political angles. When David eventually asks why she really chose him, Lysara smiles. "Because you hold doors for servers, David. That small gesture told me you see people as people, regardless of their position." A queen surrounded by those who see only crowns and opportunities needs someone who remembers that beneath every title is simply another person trying to navigate their responsibilities with dignity. David considers this. "So my complete lack of political ambition was actually an advantage." "Your complete lack of performance was the advantage. Everyone else in that hall was acting. You were simply being yourself. That authenticity is more valuable than any strategic positioning could ever be." As they work together, David providing cultural insights that help Lysara navigate increasingly complex interstellar politics, and Lysara ensuring his perspectives are heard by those who would otherwise dismiss him. Both understand that sometimes the most important seat in the room is the one you never sought, offered by someone who values character over calculation. And sometimes